Welcome to Do I Need This? We're two millennial moms figuring it out in real time.
This is a mix of shopping, life, and chaos. From impulsive buys to real conversations we usually keep to ourselves.
So the question is, do you need this or something more? Hi everyone, welcome back to Do I Need This? I am Jen.
And I'm Alexa.
And we're so happy to have you guys back. It's a little rainy here today, so those summer showers are happening. My dogs are freaking out, and it's part of it. But you just got back from your big Tallahassee drop-off, so tell us how it went. I mean, I know a little bit of how it went, but give us the overall picture.
I don't know that I even have the right words, Jen, and I'm going to try not to cry because I said I wasn't going to cry on the internet and I don't want to. But it's really hard to put into perspective the emotions, the range of emotions that I felt this past weekend. Leaving here was horrible. Like him getting in his car, us getting in our car, like, him. And then I was texting, I don't remember with who, I think it was with Mel, and my live 360 said, Nick has left home. And I had screenshotted it for some reason. And I was like, oh, knife through the heart. It was so symbolic, right? So I saved it or whatever. I couldn't stop crying on the drive there, but I'm like, he was in another car with Ryan, with his brother. And it was myself, my husband, and my daughter in our car. And I was trying to talk so I could like kind of get out of it because I didn't want Mila to start crying either. And it would come like ebbs and flows. I was okay at some points where I'm like, okay, this is good. This is going to be fun. And then we stopped at, I think it was Fort Drum, which is one of the stops on the way up to like Orlando. And the floodgate of memories, right? Of when we used to go to Orlando, when we used to go to Disney, when we used to go to Universal. And it was like this involuntary crying that was happening that he was even like, Mom, are you okay? And I'm like, yes, baby, I'm okay. But it was this feeling that I can't put into words. It was like sadness, but happiness, but like a yearning, like a, I want to go back to that and I can't. So that was something to contend with. But then, you get back in the car and you're talking, and that was fine. And then we got to Tallahassee and like shit got real really fast, So we left Saturday and then his move-in day was Sunday. So Sunday we got to the apartment. He was just so excited that it was so hard for me to be sad on Sunday because, his room, like, let's clean it, let's put things away, like, let's do whatever. And he was just so happy that it was so hard. But in my head, I'm like, I'm saying bye to my baby. Well, whatever. In a nutshell, Monday when we came back, where we actually said goodbye, was, nope, I'm not going to cry. It was just one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, to leave a piece of my heart. But I'm so proud of him. I know I've said this on multiple occasions, but what a dichotomy of feelings, right? Like you're so happy and you're so proud, and we did this. Like I looked at my husband, I'm like, we did this. This is our first one, and we did this together. And he's here, and he's, capable enough to live on his own, and he's, confident enough to do this. But at the same token, like my baby is 7 hours and 2 minutes away and 407 miles or whatever, 700 miles, like that when that kind of hits you, that was hard. Leaving was difficult. And I'm like, I don't want to text him every 5 minutes either. I want to give him his space. But, where every day I feel a little bit better. I wore his hoodie to work on like Tuesday like a psychopath, but I was like, you know what, whatever. I'm actually wearing his like Tupac sweater right now, and it makes me happy. And then it's funny, him and his brother will like Snapchat, and he's wearing his brother's shirt and his brother's wearing his. Like, I think we're all trying to cope with it, but it's such a happy occasion too. I haven't lost him, thank God, knock on wood. And he said something to me that I said to you that kind of put things into perspective. He's like, Mom, I'm not moving. I'm going to college. Like I'm coming back. And luckily it's Tallahassee, where I don't think a lot of people stay there. So the hope is that he will return.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like a college town and
yes.
how amazing to go to a place that is so iconic to be a college town and so many, he's in that culture, in that environment, and you and I both went away to college, so we
Yeah.
know how
Yeah.
fun and exciting that is and I think also it's a little bit different now than when I feel like when we were younger. I don't know, at least for me, I feel like I'm the oldest. My parents were very strict with me. So when I went to college, I was like, I am partying till 4 o'clock
Yeah.
in the morning and I am like not
Yeah.
coming home. And that was like and not to say that like with our kids, there's still boundaries and stuff like that. But I feel like also we're in a situation now where we give our kids different, freedoms that maybe we
Yeah.
didn't get because I feel like we have a different type of relationship with them and
Sure.
they know they can come to us and if something were to happen. So I feel like it's not so much like bye, never talk to you again, I'm free, it's more
Yeah.
just like I'm somewhere else doing something else now and
Yeah.
it's but that's amazing. I'm so happy for him. I know he's
I am
having an
too.
amazing time and I'm
Yes.
jealous of him. I really am. I'm like, I want to go back. You sent me that picture and I saw like the solo cup in the back and I'm like, I want to go play beer pong and flip cup and
Also, these kids' apartments, man, like the apartment is gorgeous. They have amazing appliances. They have a Keurig. They have I'm like, I want to live here. The lobby
I
of the building
cannot.
is gorgeous. Like you feel so blessed too that all the hard work, like, all this stuff that my husband and I do that we're able to give him this opportunity, like it really puts things into perspective.
For
And then I was
sure.
like to my other kids, I'm like, don't leave. You guys have to stay here. Like you can't
You
I
can
can't
go
do
to
this 3
FIU.
times. Yeah, I can't I don't know that I could do this 3 times, but it's funny too because I feel like I've gotten closer to my other 2, right? Like, it kind of they're all just looking for comfort and home and mom, and
Mhm.
we're all doing our best, but not for the
I
weak of
I
heart.
see, like, Mila and I follow each other on TikTok, and, like, I'll
Yeah,
see things that she reposts and it, like or things and I'm
yeah,
like, my heart breaks for her because I know she's so close with him and, this is her older brother leaving, and that's, like, such a different feeling, and that's so nice, though, that your kids have that relationship with each other that, they miss. I was like, to my sisters, like, "Bye,"
"Peace
like,
out, bitches."
yeah. Don't go in my room, don't touch any of my shit or I'll beat you up. But
Right, yeah, yeah, no.
no, that's amazing. And the irony was there was an accident on the turnpike and you got off and
Yes!
literally passed my house, which I wish I was home. We were furniture shopping, but like when you sent me that picture, I'm like, you were actually on like the left-hand side, like you were literally, I don't know, 50 feet from my house, which is so
That's
funny. Like
wild.
the
Well, I'm like, "Now
irony
I
of
know
that.
where I need to get off when I go see you."
I know, and the hills, you like the hills, right?
I was like, why do we have hills in Florida and
I
Orlando? What's
know.
happening?"
It's crazy.
It's really pretty.
The only place in Orlando that is hilly, which is like also I don't love to ride my bike because riding my bike, it's you got to get the electric bike because
That's a
it's
serious
too
hill.
much. Yes. Well, I'm glad to hear it went well. I'm glad to hear he's doing great. The transition was good. Every day it'll get a little bit easier and you're going to see him soon, Parents Weekend,
Right.
and then you
Yes.
have like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and luckily those college breaks are really long too, so I'm sure
Yeah.
he'll come home
That'll be
for an
nice.
extended period of time, which is nice.
Yeah.
There's actually something I've been wanting to tell you that I haven't told you yet, like, on
Ooh,
purpose so I
okay.
could tell you here because
Okay.
I know you're gonna call me psychotic, but so one of the Pilates instructors reached out to me, and she was like,
Okay.
"Hey, they're doing a Pilates instructor training. Um,
Job.
you should try out for it." So it's basically like a tryout, and then
Okay.
if you get picked for the tryout, then like you're invited to the training. So and in the tryout, you have to do like a 2-minute sequence with the microphone on with people in the class and just they want to like see your vibes.
Okay.
So I did the 2-minute sequence this week
Oh my
and
God.
I just got the email that I was offered a position in the training to become a Pilates instructor.
That is amazing. Why do I want to cry for that? I see how emotional I am. I'm so happy
You're
for
with the
you.
emotions.
I am not
However
okay. You're not going to
however,
do
I
it?
I don't think I'm going to do it because one, it's not just as much as like you got to like pay for the training. It's a lot of commitment. I really don't have the time to commit to it. And I
Mhm.
just more, and I don't know if what this speaks to, but like my constant need, like I can never do anything. Just like I can never just do anything.
Half-ass anything.
Yeah, 50%. Like, why do I have to, whatever I'm into, master it, buy all the things, go 120% always? I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, why do I have to become a Pilates instructor? Like, you can't just do Pilates? Like, I can't just shop at Free People. No, I gotta work there. I can't just like make sourdough. No, I need to learn every recipe and it's just everything about me. And I don't know what that means, but that being said, I
If
was
we could
offered
have
it and
any
it's exciting.
if we could have any expert kind of clue us in as to what's going on, we would
Yeah.
welcome it. But that's
Maybe Mel
awesome.
can chime in as what my mental
Yeah.
health disorder is with that. But yeah, it's
Ugh,
exciting. I don't think I'll do it. I'm gonna think about it, but it's not
okay.
it's a big commitment and I just
Commitment.
yeah, and I just right now is the time and Matt was like, "Well, if you give up Free People, maybe you could do this." And I was like, "I'm not giving up
Yeah,
Free
no.
People.
We're
That's
not
like
doing
not
that.
yeah,
There's
that's not an
too many
option."
benefits to free people.
Yeah, and I will be working at Free
Okay.
People until I'm like 75 with my walker in there, like
And they're
cashing
like,
people
"Ma'am,
out at Cash
you
Wrap
have to quit."
because yeah, and I'm like, "No, no, no. I still need my discount. Not an option."
Well, congrats
But
though. That's such a big deal. That's
yeah,
amazing.
so I'm excited. It was actually cool to experience it too. I met a lot of the instructors and got to like wear the microphone and I had to pick like 2 moves that I wanted to teach and cue it
That
all
is so
correctly and
cool. Do we
yeah,
have
so
a
it was really
picture with
fun.
the microphone by any
I
chance?
should have taken
Oh,
one. No, I
what
didn't.
a what a missed opportunity, Jen.
I was feeling very Britney. I was, like, giving Britney because 'cause it's
That's
got,
why
like, the
it's like,
whole
yes,
and it, like,
yes.
the little thing on your
Oh,
belt.
the
It was
box.
cool.
Oh,
And it
okay.
was cool. There
Well,
was, like, a couple girls also auditioning, and, like, we were talking before the audition, and we were just it was cool. We were like,
how
"Okay, what
cool.
moves are you gonna do?" And they luckily we didn't do the same moves, which
The
was I mean,
same
it wouldn't
stuff.
matter if we did, but
Yeah.
it was just really cool to see, and one of the girls was like, "Oh, yeah, like, I've been doing it for like, I've done, like, over 400 classes." And I was like, "Oh my gosh." And which
Wow.
I've done 120, which is still
That's
a lot,
awesome.
but
Yeah.
it was just cool, and I'm like, "Okay, you don't have to, like, be the best at everything, do everything to max level and commit this way," but it was for the plot. That's what I keep saying, it's for the plot, you know?
We needed to talk about something on the podcast, so I'm glad that you did that.
Exactly. So I've been wanting to tell you all week, but I was like, "No, I'm gonna wait till the pod so I could get
Oh,
your raw reaction."
I love these live reactions, but I don't like that we don't tell
I
each
know. I
other
wanted to tell
everything.
you it was, like, 2 days ago in the evening, and I was like, I wanted to tell you, like, when I was doing it, but I was like, "No, just wait to tell her." But also I just heard back today about so I didn't even wanna, like, say anything in case I mean, it's not a big deal if I didn't get it. It's, like, literally fine,
Still,
but it was exciting to get the email.
very
It's
cool.
cool to feel wanted, I'm sure that's part of the mental illness of it all, so
Like,
but
again, I'm an athlete. I am,
exactly, I'm an Olympian,
obviously. Yeah, proud of you. That's awesome.
but yeah, I've been actually struggling with, some sleep issues that I've been having. I don't know if, like, Mercury is in retrograde or what's happening with the planets, but for the life of me, I am up every night from like 2 a.m. to probably like 4:30 in the morning every night. And I don't
Wow.
know how to fix this. And I know you've been doing some research on you got your notes, you have the
I
stats
did. I did.
and
Like, hold
I've
on.
been
Hold on.
yeah, we've been looking at like some overall wellness things and my sleep has been an issue. So maybe you tell us what's the routines that you've been seeing that the experts are saying that we should really like hone into.
Okay. Well, remember how I discovered the Oprah podcast recently? And then
Yes.
I went back to her archive of things. She's had this podcast for like 2 years. I don't know where I have been. I've never once heard of
Oh,
it.
slay Oprah.
So, yeah, literally. So, on the way to Tally, I'm like, okay, what else can I watch? Is there another one? So I don't like tire our listeners with like the same, Oprah, Oprah, Oprah. But I came across one that it was about like overall health and how to like improve your health and longevity and all this stuff. And I'm sorry. I know I talked about Oprah last week, but we're going to bring it back up again because it was specifically about, hold on, let me bring out my notes because we research and we take notes here.
We love
Um,
it.
Dr. John Puma, and he is the author of The Indoor Epidemic. I haven't gotten the book. I still have to finish the book from last week, but it was really, really interesting. And he was talking about, he was the focus was on healing through the power of nature. And I love being outside. I've told you before, I love to garden. I love to walk outside. I mean, I wish we didn't live in the climate that we do because I think it limits us a lot. But I feel amazing in nature, right? So I'm like, okay, this is up my alley. Let me see what this guy
Mm-hmm.
has to say. So he was basically talking about how for both your physical and your mental health, they can both be improved by being outside, right? He specifically talked about being in blue or green spaces. And what
Ooh,
that
okay.
basically means, right? Green is you're surrounded by plants, by trees. That could be a backyard, a front yard, a forest, a community garden, a park, right? Like not all of us have access to a forest or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
but for the most part, there could be some sort of park that you can go to or whatever, right? And then obviously blue is considered any type of body of water, preferably running water, a creek, a lake, an ocean. But he even said, listen how interesting this is, that a pool counts. If you're around, like if you are outside and you're meditating, even if you're around a pool, it still helps, right?
Maybe even just
So
hearing like that water, even like the
yeah,
filtering
or
in and
even I
out.
think being in the presence of the color blue, which then he talks about after, was like really interesting. So being around these types of spaces has a direct effect on our biology, like on our physiological makeup, right? So green and blue spaces, they trigger a part of our brains that we don't use all the time. So,
Okay.
I mean, I think, listen, when you go to a beach, right, typically you come back relaxed, like you feel better. Like a lot of people that take like beach vacations or you go hiking, people say that they feel really, really good, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that made a lot of sense to me. So he was saying that people who live near these green or blue spaces, they have access to natural light, like movement, fresh air, and it literally improves their physical health, right? And he brought up something again. This is the second expert that says that the environment plays a huge role in preventing and treating, diseases, our overall physical health. And we talk about the environment all of the time in ABA, but now it's in everything. Last week it was in, our mental
Mm-hmm.
health. This week is in our physical health. And I found it super interesting. um, Oprah quoted something from his book that I thought was so like it could possibly resonate with a lot of us, right? So I'm gonna read a quote from his book, and he asks, like the general public, is your mind a runaway train, a clattering whirlwind of to-do lists, anxious what ifs, the endless ping of digital alerts? Do you feel a weariness in your bones that sleep cannot touch? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. You're battling the indoor epidemic head on, and frankly, you are exhausted. So, what he was trying to tell us is that we are tired on a much deeper level than just I'm physically tired. We are so
Mm-hmm.
tired. We are tired on a physical, mental level. And he talks about what I like about her podcast is it gives you the issue and then it kind of gives you the solution, right? Like these are things that you could do. And he was talking about the 7% solution. So I'm going to break that down for you guys. We spend 93% of our time indoors.
That's
And
insane.
isn't
But
that insane?
makes complete sense. Like if you think about it, most people are like severely vitamin D deficient, and
Deficient. Most of
that
us
makes
are.
that makes sense why.
Yeah. And so he was saying that the 7% that we are outside is incidental and it's not intentional. It's you're going to go get your DoorDash, you're going to go get your
Mhm.
mail, you're walking from your door to your car. So he explained that if we take 17 minutes a day, which is a total of 2 hours per week, to be outside intentional in these blue or green spaces, everything starts to improve. Our sleep, our focus, our mood, like it has a direct correlation. There's he even quoted, there was about 1,000 studies that he looked at, or maybe even more than that. I don't want to misquote the number, but those studies all kind of came together to say that there's a 23% drop in premature deaths for people that spend time outside with a
That's
minimum of 17 minutes.
That's crazy. And it makes sense. I always say I'm a beach girl. Like I I want to live at the beach. I would if I could. I could sit on the beach from 7 a.m. to it's dark.
Same. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with the beach. When I am sitting at the ocean, I actually feel like I
You
can
feel
breathe
better.
deeper.
Yeah.
Like it's like I can like almost like relax and like take more air into my lungs. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
I that makes sense. I recently made not recently, it was over a year ago. I made a TikTok where it was like, what like we're like plants, right? We need to go outside and like photosynthesis, like sit outside, have the sun beat on our skin, breathe the air, be in nature. And it doesn't have to be something so big as you need to be on a full-time retreat that you're only
Right,
not
right,
wearing
right.
shoes and you're grounding your feet into the earth, but literally sitting at the sun, letting the sun beat on your skin, you know?
Absolutely. I was just fascinated by what I love to hear like smart, educated people talk, but he made it so easy to understand that I'm like, I think if I take enough notes, I hope I'm doing his research justice and I'm not saying anything wrong. But it was really, really interesting. And then he went on to talk about meeting the morning sun, the concept of the morning sun. Miami or Florida is really, really hot, right? So I think a lot of us can't spend a lot of time outside because we're going to dehydrate, we're going to heat stroke, God forbid. But he talked about really, really early morning, especially now that I drop Mila off 7:30. She's in school. I'm at the office by 7:45. He talked about 60 to 90 minutes after we wake up, the back of our retina has these light sensing, like, I don't know, cells that pick up specifically the morning light. And then he's like, make sure to tell people don't look directly at the sun because you're going to
Yes, please
damage your
don't.
eyes. So, like, disclaimer. But even of 10 or 15 minutes on a cloudy day will help your overall health, right? Then he goes on to say that this morning sun will give us this big boost of cortisol, which is good in the morning. You don't want cortisol like in the middle at night or whatever because it doesn't let you
Mhm.
sleep, right? It helps you work better. It sets your melatonin timer. Look how interesting this is, which helps you go to sleep about 14 hours later. It'll get you into that circadian rhythm. And I was like, shit,
That's
that's what
that's
so many of
interesting.
us are missing, right? So he's
I
like,
think that's my problem, is that I'm, like,
probably.
in this, like, weird rhythm, though, that I'm, like, sometimes I go to bed so early, and then I'm waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like my body is, like, cause then I'm so tired during the day that I go to bed at, like,
Yeah,
7:50 at night, and
correct.
it's you know what I mean? And then I'm waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, but then I'm tired, and it's like this vicious
It's like
cycle
this
of
cycle. Yeah, yeah. He
Mhm.
was talking about that. And then he was really focusing on deep sleep, which I know like we've talked about. And in deep sleep, if we can get ourselves to deep sleep, which I know a lot of us track it now through like aura rings and that kind of stuff, slow REM sleep is where we build bone, repair muscle, and the glymphatic system kicks in. I had never heard of the glymphatic system. I had to like
Oh, me
go and
either.
Google it. Okay, so the glymphatic system is the brain's cleaning system. And I'm sorry to our audience, this has now turned into like a medical podcast, but this is so interesting. So it circulates spinal fluid around your brain and it cleans out proteins and metabolic byproducts, including two of them that I can't name because I don't even remember the name that are associated with Alzheimer's.
I was about to say, because Alzheimer's is really just protein buildup
Protein
that
buildup.
causes the dendrites not to be able to fire correctly, and then therefore you can't remember things because those like neurons can't
Correct. They're
fire
blocked.
correctly. So yeah. And my mother-in-law is, and I know your dad suffered with Alzheimer's. My mother-in-law currently has it, and so did my grandfather. And
Hmm.
and I mean, they say a ton of things are really about your health, your physical health day to day. How are you taking care of your body? And sleep is people don't realize that sleep is such an important factor in your mental
Yeah.
health and physical health. And
Yeah.
I mean, I look at my aura ring and I've recently been having like my scores in like the 80s, but I used to be like
Hmm.
high 80s, 90s all the time and that And you really, I'll wake up sometimes and I'm like, I don't even want to look at it because I know it's going to
You
be,
know.
it's going to be bad. And it will say like, try to take some rest during the day and try to recharge. But again, then I get in this like cycle of like, then I take a nap or, close my eyes for a little bit. I'm in this cycle right now where like I get Caleb off to school at 8 in the morning and I go back to sleep from like 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. before I start working. And it's like, I should not be sleeping from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Like that's super unlike me. Like I usually wake up at like naturally 6:45, 7 a.m. on my own, but like now I'm just in this bad
Yeah.
rhythm. But you saying that actually I maybe what I'll even do is like go for a walk in the mornings and try to
Mhm.
get myself
Yeah.
or even did they say anything about kind of even like getting your brain focused on, like, the nighttime too? I wonder if, like, the lack of light too helps with
Well,
that.
he brought up a couple things. He even talked about like how important colors are. Like the color blue is healing. They don't really know why, but they call it blue mind. So if you want to look that up, where it
Okay,
activates the parasympathetic nervous system and it soothes you. Specifically the color blue.
interesting.
I thought the color green, but the color blue. The sound of water can be very healing too. So he recommended at night to basically get one of these like what are they called? Like those like sounds stuff that it could be
Yeah,
like
like a sound
yeah.
machine, yeah.
He said like rain, ocean waves, like running water for about 5 minutes, and it allows your brain to relax. So you could either do that at night or early morning. He didn't speak about like dark, like I like a very dark room to go to sleep. My
Yeah,
conditions
me
almost
too.
need to be like perfect, but he said that was really important. He mentions also something called the dive reflex. Like if during your day you're like extremely you're agitated, there's a lot going on, you have to splash cold water on your face for 15 seconds. It
Okay.
shuts off your stress response and lowers your blood pressure, but like cold water.
Like
So he
ice bath
suggest
water.
like almost ice bath water. Like I've seen people kind of dive their like put their face in,
Mhm.
but he's like splash it. Kind of I mean, I know for some of us that wear makeup that might not be, but if I'm having a bad day, we're splashing our face with really cold water.
Literally, dunk
We're
me
doing
in,
whatever.
throw me in a pool, whatever we need.
Absolutely, whatever we need to do. Let's see
I
what
feel like I
else.
need that because I feel like, especially in this past week during my work, like, I'm so
Hmm.
agitated sometimes, and I'm like, why? Like, it's not that deep, and I sometimes need to, like, have a come to Jesus moment where I'm like,
Yeah,
"You need to
with
chill." Like,
yourself.
why are my Aura Ring's telling me, like, "You're highly stressed right now," and I'm like, "No, I know, I'm just annoyed," and maybe I need to be splashing myself with some cold water.
Then he talked about, and I did it this morning, and I made a little video about it on our Insta. I did the 4-7-8 breathing technique this morning. I've been trying to do it when I get to work. I park. It's still not really hot. We have a nice little canopy where our picnic tables are at work. So I've been working on that, where you breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, you release for 8, and you do it for 5 reps. And it calms your whole nervous system. It kind of
I
resets
love
it.
that.
And mind you, I walk into work and 2 seconds later I'm like, I gotta go back out and breathe again, but
Yeah.
whatever, you know? But
But at least
he
it's
explained.
something. You kinda start out on, like, the right foot, and I think
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah, yeah,
that can be difficult too. At least it's like, okay, you're going in with this positive mindset.
yeah.
You've brought yourself back to homeostasis in a way. And
Mhm.
actually, I have the Calm app because I listen to the
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
I'm really big on the sleep stories. I listen to the sleep stories every night. But they have a lot of meditation. I used to do nighttime meditations, and that was really difficult for me until I really worked on that breathing.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's and you think about it like hold it for 7 is harder than what you think. And then I mean, if you want to get really, into it, I used to be really into yoga for an extended period of time and we would do like diaphragmatic breathing. That changes we breathe wrong. We're supposed to your
Yeah, you
diaphragm's supposed to go like
pushing it
out when you breathe
out.
in. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, like they teach you that in I'm sure in Pilates and yoga and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Um so I think that that's also really healing. I mean, the whole conversation, I encourage you guys to go hear that podcast episode. I think it's called 17 Minutes Outside. He even talked about a concept called forest bathing. Again, we don't have like forest here. Like, so it's kind of hard. I mean, maybe North Florida there is, but like not here. And he was explaining like it's walking through nature, right? Like
Mhm.
feeling, looking at green, seeing green, touching green, smelling green, feeling the wind. It has the same effects as a beta blocker. It lowers your blood pressure, like it
That's
resets. Like,
crazy.
isn't that
Yeah.
insane? It was
Yeah,
so
and I'm sure,
interesting.
but also, if you wanna think about it from, like, a biological perspective too, like, one thing we know about trees is, what they
Yeah.
do with carbon dioxide and
Yeah.
oxygen and
Yeah.
all of that too. It
Yeah.
kind of makes sense of that being in that environment where those chemical changes are happening too, are literally in our environment is there, and we evolved to thrive in this environment, so it makes sense that these various things we would thrive in that. And if you think about it, everything goes back. And I took a class on behavioral evolution many, many years ago, and it all really does go back to, survival of the fittest, and not saying like, the strongest lives longer, but more that the your body adjusts and the species adjusts to their environment. And that being
Yeah.
said, we're not so far, speaking of like planets and their how long they've been, around for,
Mm-hmm.
like, where our ancestors didn't have electricity to have these fake lights and things that affect our brain. We're not far out after that evolutionary process. So of course it makes complete sense that the sun is going to be what's affecting our brain mostly and getting us on this like rhythmic path to be successful in what we're trying to do. It's like we've we've artificially added these things into it, and our brains through evolution as a species have not caught up to that to be, and who knows even like what that is doing to us from an
Yeah.
evolutionary perspective. And not to get into like all that science stuff, but I think that it is important to think that nature is important. The sun is important. Being in the sun. They even say that. I remember a girl I was friends with many, many years ago it was before I even moved to Florida. She was like feeling some seasonal depression, and in New
Yes, I was
Jersey,
going to say that
it gets dark when the clocks
early,
change.
right?
It gets dark. I swear it's dark, pitch black by 4:45. So you
That's
go into
wild.
work and it's dark and cold and wet and rainy, and you leave work and it's dark. And she was saying to me, her doctor actually said, you know, people will go into a tanning booth and they'll literally, like, as
I feel
horrible as
better.
that is for your skin,
Yeah.
but also,
Yeah. Yeah.
again, this was like,
Early 2000s.
early 2000s. The rules are
Yeah.
different, and we were buying the JWoww dark, dark tanning lotion and going
We
into
were.
the
Yes.
into the beds.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But she was like, I got a tanning membership, and she's like, and I feel a little bit
Feel better.
better. And it
Isn't
kind
that
of makes
wild?
sense that if you think about it, those UV rays and honestly, that is part of the reason I actually love living in Florida and why I will personally never
Yeah.
move back
Move.
up north,
Yeah.
because I think I mean, we are outside as much as we can. We are like, I mean, aside from now, it's been a very hot summer.
Very hot. Yeah.
But once it cools off a little bit, from the moment I am done work till
Catch me outside.
yeah, we are outside until 8
Yeah.
PM. The kids are
Yeah.
playing, we're outside, we're having a drink with the neighbors. Sometimes we like order pizza, we sit in the driveways, and being outside just feels, I don't know, you come back in a little more exhausted too to then go to
Yeah.
sleep. Sometimes I feel like the reason I can't sleep is because I'm not tired enough. It's like I sat on a computer all day. What did I do? I walked from my car to my house, back to my car into my house, maybe went
Yeah.
to Pilates.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like my body isn't tired enough that I haven't done anything. I haven't felt anything, you
Yeah.
know?
Or like your brain is tired, but then your body's not because it's been
Yes.
sedentary for it's very interesting. Like, I don't know. I left this episode. I'm like, I have to tell Jen. I have to tell our listeners. There was even a study that he mentioned. Sorry, I keep going back to this, but in hospitals, right? They looked at patients that had had the same surgery, same procedures, same everything, same care, same type of medications. And one of them was, or some of them were in rooms that had access to natural light and the others
Interesting.
didn't. And those patients, for the most part, had one less day hospital stay, needed less medication, had an overall more pleasant experience with all the hospital staff, and like just did better. And he was talking about how it's called neuroaesthetics. It's changed the hospital architecture in the last like 10 years, where now
Wow.
every room should have access to natural light. Like, I was mind blown. Like, I mean, we should know this stuff, right? Like nature,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, all the people that hug the trees, all the people that like walk barefoot. I'm like, they
Call
have
us
been
tree
doing this.
huggers. We are.
That's it. Now that's it. I go to Whole Foods and I hug trees. Like that's it. I'm done. No, but it's listen, I think for me this week, it was about, you know what I need? I need to slow down. I need to sleep. Well, you need to sleep better. I need to slow down. I need to get in tune and touch with nature again and like and just slowing down. That's it because I we don't stop. We
We
don't
don't.
stop. Now, school's back in session. There's a million things to do, but
Mhm.
also incorporating those pauses into the routine, I think it's what's going to be really important. The more I think about it and the more I see and read things like mental health, like the mental health crisis right now, I think these are the things that we can do to control, like the small things that we can kind of control to help with those other bigger things, right? Like there's so much that we can't control every day, but
Of course.
getting out there for 17 minutes, I think that we owe ourselves that,
No, of
whatever
course.
that
Yeah.
looks like.
Taking the
So,
time and just literally sitting there, even if you just are playing music that you're listening to, you don't even have to meditate, but just, I mean, sometimes I just do that in my car. I'm like sitting in my car and
yeah,
I'm just like
yeah, yeah.
sitting there, but I'm like, I could be doing this outside. Just sit outside, sit in the sun, maybe go to the pool, look at the pool, whatever it
Stare at your
takes.
pool, whatever it takes. Yeah, yeah. But some really cool research out there. And I think that, especially with the type of society that we live in that's so fast, like slowing down, even if it's just a tiny bit, might just give us give us some added benefits that we didn't even know that we needed, right? Like
Yeah,
we shouldn't be waking up every morning at 3 a.m. and then not being able to go to sleep because what do most of us do? Wake up, you use the bathroom, and you get on your phone because you can't sleep. And now
exactly. That's what I'm doing. I'm
everything.
scrolling TikTok. And that can be good, me scrolling TikTok, like, what's the that I'm sure that's but then I'm laying there for, 15 minutes, and I'm like, "Well, what do I do now?" And then you start panicking, like, "Well, now it's 3 AM. Now I have less time to sleep." I actually did read something interesting, though. I wanna say it was on, like, Mythbusters or something,
Okay.
where it was, like, related to insomnia, where people were saying, that they get in that same rhythm of saying like, "Oh, no," and then they get worried that they won't be able to fall asleep, but I think they, like, looked at also, um, REM patterns and all of that, saying that even if you can't fall asleep, but just laying there and closing your eyes and, like, being still can give your, like, brain and body, like, regenerative,
Yeah.
it'll not the same as sleep, but similar, so it should, like, kinda keep your mind at ease, and I think about that every time when I can't sleep now, I'm always like, "Okay, just lay here, close your eyes, do what you need to do." If you don't sleep the rest of the night, you don't sleep the rest of the night, like, it is what it is, so
But
but
you're
and
not
then
on an
often
electronic device.
I end up falling asleep because I'm
Yeah.
sitting there. It's the times that I get on my phone and I'm scrolling and I'm watching things and all of that. So yeah, that's incredible information. And the color stuff is actually really interesting to me
Isn't that
too, which
cool?
yeah, for them to study that and then to see that like in our environment, the green and the blue are the most prominent things, even the sky and, all of
Hmm.
that too. And, looking at that and how that can affect your daily every day, let's look at even if we gotta pop out, just go stare at the grass for a little bit or stare up at the sky, whatever we gotta do. Like we talk about a lot of self-care stuff that we do for like our skin and working out and drinking water and eating healthy. And we've talked about this before where it's like we're hamsters in a wheel that we're always trying to do this. And we never really talk about those just like general things you can do for your everyday, for your mental health, your body, your physical sense. And
Right, right,
this is
right.
so easy. Why
Yeah,
wouldn't we do 17 minutes out in the sun every day,
for sure.
especially in the morning, and get in that good circadian rhythm? Why not? It can't
Yeah.
hurt. And I think
It can
that's what
hurt
it
us.
comes down
Yeah.
to. It literally
Yeah,
can't. It's not like this is a drug that you need to take and see. It's like, try it. Does it make you feel good? Look, we're behavior analysts. Let's look at the data for the next 2
right.
weeks. Are you sleeping better? What has
Yeah,
changed? And kind of focusing on that, I think is definitely powerful.
for sure, for sure. But and then like we said, like also adding the other things we've talked about, the Nod Pod, a good pillow, making sure you have a blackout curtain. I think
Mhm.
there's so many things that we can do now adding this like nature piece of it. Now let's add, let's put everything together. Like I
Yeah.
think that there's a lot of promise in it. And just for reference, again, his book is called The Indoor Epidemic, and his name is Dr. John LaPuma. I followed him today. I feel like there's a lot of stuff I could learn from here, and hopefully continue to share with our audience.
No, and I love that. I love that also there's studies behind it, and we're looking at that. And again, it just feels like it makes sense, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't seem, it's like, oh, duh. That's
Yeah.
Of course that would
Yeah.
work. Like, why aren't we doing that, Like,
Hmm.
why do people love the beach? People love to be on a lake, on a boat. Why do people love boats, They're just like
Yeah.
cars on water.
Yeah. Exactly. So interesting stuff.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, do you have any items that you want to recommend, or anything even related to self-care, or anything that we've talked about that have been on your mind?
I I honestly don't have anything this week. I think I've just really been focusing on trying to keep it together. Um, I've
Well,
been doing a lot of reading. You do?
I
You
have
do?
one
Okay.
that I've started with, because
Okay.
I have been having some issues drinking water. I've been known
Okay.
to barely drink any water, survive on like coffee and, a Coke in the day.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've been
Mhm.
working on drinking a lot of water. And I know you used to do this a while ago, and obviously, like, you know, everyone does this, but buying different fruits, and
Yes.
every day I'm saying, like, okay, now it's time for my lemon water. Now it's time for my lime water. Now
Yeah.
it's time for I'll even put just like a little bit of lemonade in it. And I'm a girl who loves to drink. So
Yeah.
I that has been my this week of me focusing on trying to drink more water, is I've
Good.
given myself a bunch of fun drinks. So I'm like, I have my coffee, I'm still drinking my coffee, and then I'm like,
Right.
ooh, it's 10:30. I can have my lemon water. And then I go in and I make my little lemon water. I put it in a different cup with a
I love
straw.
it.
So, I've just been doing that to try to like get myself to drink more water and
Yeah.
try to hydrate myself a little bit better.
If you put pineapple in your water, if you buy like the pineapple chunks and you even put like a little bit of the pineapple juice,
Ooh, it's kind of
so
like a
good.
cocktail. A little vodka in it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I'm
I've
not
been
sure
I've
at
been working
11 a.m. on a Thursday is the best time for
my
that, but
might not work out for us, but no, I love that. I used to put a lot of fruit in my water, and it does become expensive, but it's probably so much better than the Crystal Light that I'm still drinking.
we all have our
I
thing.
We have our things, but I've been working on water too because I guess we've just been so busy lately that I'm not drinking the normal amount that I normally do. And I've been okay, like and my cardiologist, which I didn't get into that, but that will be for the next pod. Suggested that I have one electrolyte type drink per day, like one
Okay.
Stanley with either the LMNT or I think that's what it's called, or the what is the other one, the really popular one?
Yeah,
Great. Now I don't remember the name.
people are screaming at
For
their
sure. Oh
podcast
my
right
god, and
now.
I just, like, opened it. The
Uh,
hydration thing. Yeah, well, you know what,
well, that
Jen?
one. You guys know which one. We
Ye
have bad memories. We need to be in the
yes.
sun more.
At least 1 a day and then, like, your regular water intake because I had an electrolyte deficiency too. I guess I was maybe sweating too much and I was having some, like, heart palpitations going on, and I'm on a heart monitor, actually. You can't see it, but I have it here. Better safe than sorry, but, um
Worse.
he's like, you have to
Liquid
do
IV,
the
liquid IV.
liquid IV. Thank God. If we had production, we would be like, hey, production, what is that thing? Can you
What's
research
that
for
thing
us? But
called? Maybe like, come
yeah,
on, guys, liquid IV, duh.
yeah. We're not there. Yes, the liquid IV. So I have one per day and then my regular water because it's so hot. You don't realize that you
I
sweat
know.
from the car to this or whatever. And we got to stay hydrated, ladies. We got to keep our skin and our body and everything in check.
No, I love that. Yeah, so that's been my also drinking out of a straw. I mean, I feel like everybody these days drinks out of a straw, but like
Yeah,
generally you drink more water or more liquids when you drink out of a straw rather than just out of a regular cup. So that's been good to just kind of like focus on that. And yeah, I'm just having my own little drinks throughout the day, and I'm just like kind of making it an experience. Like I'm
fun.
going to Starbucks, like here's
I
my
love it
lime
for you.
drink. And I've actually been buying, they make these little packets too of like a little, and it's like 100% lemon or whatever it is, and
Okay,
it's more just like a dried fruit thing, and I put them in like a liquid IV and stir it up and drink it that way
that's
too,
cool.
just to
Okay.
give it a little bit of flavor. So that's been my recommendation of how I've been trying to hydrate this week in hopes to, I don't know, improve my overall skin, everything, trying to stay young.
Well, now you're going to try these things and you're going to report back next week if you're sleeping any better.
Yes, no, I'm absolutely doing that. So that's our do I need this? Do we need to spend more time outside? And
Yeah.
what do
Mhm.
we need what are some self-care things that you guys are doing that you're finding help your day or help you sleep at night? Do you go for a walk at night? What time do you put your phone down at night and not look at it?
Mhm.
Do you scroll TikTok? Do you lock your phone and use one of those brick things to, you know, do that? Or how are you listening to white noise, are you listening to water, those type of things? So let us know the do I need this items that maybe we should try that could be helpful in trying to bring our bodies back to homeostasis and help our overall sleep and functional health.
Absolutely.
So amazing. Well, thank you for all those facts. I'm obsessed with that. I love research. We're nerds.
Yeah.
Down to it, we're actually just big nerds that also like skincare and shopping and buying and drinking
We
and
are.
all that fun stuff.
All the girl
So
stuff.
yes. Well, thank you guys for listening. As always, make sure you like and subscribe to wherever you find podcasts and comment on our Instagram. Follow us on Instagram if you haven't yet. And we got a lot of fun stuff coming, we got a lot of stuff in the works, which I'm super excited about. So, and we may be potting together here soon, not remotely. So
So
we're gonna have a
excited.
we're gonna have a cool podcast set up for when we do an in-person one. And yeah, we just got a lot of stuff that's coming up and I'm super excited about.
Well, thank you guys for listening,
Yes, thank you
and we
guys,
will
and we will talk to you next week then.
have a good one. Bye.
Bye.